Okay, in this third video demonstration for the mug tree, I'm now going to show you how to add materials to the mug tree and how to render it. So the best way I found to add the materials is to click on the individual parts that you want to render. You can either do it over here in the model tree, you can click on the base part 1, or you can double click on the part. If I double click on the part, you can see it greys out everything else, and then I can go in and add material. So let's say I want to add some sort of wood to this. Now there's a wood which is called walnut, which is quite nice, natural polished, and I click return. And I'm going to add that same material to each of the other parts. So double click on the other part of the base, and again I'll go to the W's, I'll go to walnut natural polished and return. And I'm just going to do the same thing with the stem. Double click on it, click on the top, go to the W's for walnut, natural polished, return. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the dowels a slightly different material. So I'm going to double click on the dowel and I'm going to make them birch. So in the B's, I should have something that is called birch natural polished and return. Now, as I've made them all, these all from the one part, all three of them materials went at the same time. Now what you'll notice is the wood grain is not running the right way on the birch dowels. So I'm going to double click on them again, and up in the tool options at the top, I'm going to click on adjust. Now I'm going to just, a wee teardropper is now changed to my cursor. I'm going to click on this surface here, and I'm going to use the little circle and click and drag it round, and what you'll see is that it moves the grain so that it's now going along the way. And I can play around with this other setting to change the sort of structure of the grain, and you click tick to finish it and then return, and you'll see that now the grain is running the correct way along them. Now if you found that on the base it's similar, you can use a similar technique to do that. Okay, so I've got all my materials added. Now to render it, I'm going to go into the View tab at the top. I'm going to change the visual style to be realistic. I'm going to add some shadows on. I'm going to add some reflections on, and you can see them appearing straight away. I'm going to change my lights to maybe warm lights. I'm going to change the view to perspective, and I'll maybe rotate it over so that it's looking a little bit flatter like that. And then I'll ray trace it, and what ray tracing does, it starts to enable all the lights and it starts to render it. Okay, so you can see over here it's going through the render process. This is the rough render. You can set it for better quality. I'm just doing this for speed, the rough one. Okay, so you can see already the model has got some shadows on it, it's got some reflections on it, it's looking quite nice. Once I've got that and it's gone right the way through the whole progress bar all the way to the end, pause will disappear and then you can click save. Okay, so when you click save, it gives you the options to save it as different types of picture format. I tend to use either PNG or JPEG format. It normally defaults to bitmap, but I tend to use one of the other two. So now that it's disappeared, I can click save. Here you can save it, it defaults to bitmap. If I change it to either PNG or JPEG, I can then call it. I'll call this render 1, and I'll click save, and that's it, saved. Okay, that is the end of demonstration video 3, where I've shown you how to add materials and how to render your mug tree.